Gentlemen, life is not fair. And quite honestly, the deck is not always going to be stacked in your favor. And you are going to have to play the hand that you were dealt and not the hand that you wish you had. Guys, welcome back to the channel. I want to talk to you about something that has been weighing on my heart. And that's because I've been hearing a lot of this from people in my messages and also when I get off stage and I do the meet and greets and I get to hear from people who tell me I would be more successful if only, and then you fill in the blank. I came from a better family, a better demographic, if I had a college education, if my skin wasn't this color and I was white or whatever the thing is. And I realized very quickly that, well, maybe I would have been more successful if I didn't have to deal with physical abuse when I was a kid, sexual abuse when I was a kid, being a foreigner to the United States and being called a foreigner and go back to your own country, you effing foreigner, you immigrant. Your parents are taking all of our great jobs. And I was like, what? My dad is working a paper route right now. My mom is washing dishes at a pizzeria. That's the great job that you Americans, right, are trying to claim. But I realized in that moment that I'm not going to let their ignorance affect my path and trajectory in life. And so I share this with you because there was a time in my life that I felt like that the odds were stacked against me. I felt like if only these things hadn't happened to me, if only my parents were born here, or if I was born here in the United States, if I had already was born knowing English and not having to learn English and lose my accent, if all these things, right? And we realized very quickly that no one really comes out of the womb, or if they do, a very small percentage of people come out of the womb with the deck stacked in their favor and they're dealt with the best cards that they can play with. The rest of us have to play the hand that we were given. And I think that that's a gift. That's a gift from God, because if you understand how that works, you know that for your muscles to grow, you have to go to the gym and work out, right? You know that for your mental and emotional state to elevate, you have to work with the therapist or read the books or do the journaling and the meditation, the self-work. So doesn't it make sense then that if life was perfectly stacked in your favor, then you wouldn't be able to grow and become the version of the person you need to become to help and serve more people and grow a big business and have a beautiful family and have an awesome life of impact and income and influence? Of course it does. Now, does it suck to deal with the traumas and the setbacks and the adversities and the shortcomings and all that stuff? Yes, it absolutely does. And to have all these limiting beliefs, yes, but we have to work through it. You have to play the hand that you're dealt and not feel like a victim because the cards are not in my favor. The deck was not stacked for me like everyone else, because everyone has something working against them. I promise you that. You may not know it, you may not feel it, but I can tell you that everyone has something working against them. So what do? We have to learn to turn chicken shit into chicken salad, or turn lemons into lemonade if you like, right? But you have to play the hand that you were dealt, because the adversities that you're going to overcome, the setbacks that you're going to overcome, the obstacles that God gave you are a test for the testament that you're going to become. But you first have to go through the test. You have to come out the other side with some bumps and bruises and scars and life lessons. That's what it's about, my friend. So understand that while the deck is not stacked in your favor and you have a shitty hand to play, so did I, and so did a lot of people, and we all play the best that we can with the hand that we have. We show up with gratitude, number one, and then we show up with relentless focus and massive action, and we stop feeling like a victim and stop crying about the fact that things weren't stacked for us ideally, and if only they were. Because the more you tell that story, the more you reinforce this negative belief system that you have, that if only things worked out for you, you would have had a more happy and successful and prosperous life. So I don't know what the limitations are in your life. I don't know what the setbacks and adversities and detours and bumps and bruises that you've dealt with and the traumas, but here's the good news. That is all resistance against the mental and emotional and physical muscles that you are going to have to build, that you are going to have to develop. And when you do, you get to serve and help more people with it. You understand that, right? So we are not victims. We're not victims. No. These are gifts that we were given. They show up in a very painful and not the best way, because sometimes the dark little monster creeps up in your head, right? I understand. The dark little monster creeps up in your head and starts hissing and whispering, you can't do it, you're not worthy, you're not capable. Who do you think you are? Don't you understand that the color of your skin or where you come from or your education level or your disabilities, they're not going to let you get there? You have to shut that person down. That is the negative voice in your head, the inner critic. And you have to shut down the critic, and you have to give power to the inner advocate, because there's also another voice that whispers that you need to turn into a shout. And that voice in your head says, you can do it. You are meant for more. God did put a mission and a message in your heart. And if you want to live that mission and that message, then you ought to better start doing the work, push through the resistance, and become the version of the man that you are meant to be. Much love to all of you. If you like this, take a minute to leave me a comment, subscribe, and like. Peace. Love you guys. Guys, quick interruption to the Bedros Keuilian Show. If you want better health, more energy, you want to fight off inflammation, and you want to boost your immune system, then you are probably taking a lot of supplements like I used to. I say used to because I stopped taking all these different supplements, and you can now throw away your vitamin C, throw away your zinc, throw away your vitamin D3, your B12, your ginger, your turmeric, your echinacea, and your astragalus. Why? Because all of it now is available in the TrueLean Everyday Wellness packets. So instead of spending $200 to $300 a month on supplements like that, for a fraction of that, you're going to get the TrueLean Wellness Shot delivered right to your door for free shipping. And you're going to use the code BEDROS when you go to TrueLean.com to get 50% off. And $1 of every single order goes to Shriners Children's Hospital. So go to TrueLean.com, use code BEDROS, and order your 30-day supply of the TrueLean Everyday Wellness Shot.